story.
Good morning and welcome to News Diary. I am Fathia Noor. Now in our News Diary today, the fate of bipartisan talks between Azimio and Kenya Kwanza hangs in the balance as the 7-day ultimatum given by the Azimio team ended at midnight. Yesterday, during the parliamentary group meeting, the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya coalition said they will not resume bipartisan talks because the government is pushing the Finance Bill 2023 that will worsen the cost of living. And speaking of the Finance Bill, public participation continues today. The Committee on the Finance and National Planning will hold a public hearing in Nairobi to discuss the contents of the bill. Not only that, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki is expected to make his second public accountability statement. Kindiki made his first public accountability in February while marking 100 days in office. And Political Parties Dispute Tribunal will start hearing the Jubilee case today after the two warring factions have filed the submissions before the tribunal. Kenya's former ruling Jubilee Party has been embroiled in leadership problems as the two factions battle to control the once powerful party. This and other stories are likely to shape today. Now, the government has up to midnight to withdraw in total the Finance Bill 2023 will face unspecified consequences from the opposition. This was the resolution of the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Coalition Parliamentary Group meeting held in Nairobi on Tuesday, as the opposition fell short of announcing the return date for the bi-weekly nationwide demonstrations. As KTN's political affairs reporter Emmanuel Toh now explains, the bipartisan talks now hang on a thread after the PG also suspended the talks indefinitely, despite concessions from the Kenya Kwanza side on the pertinent issues.
Let's proceed.
The parliamentary group meeting that brought together about 130 members of parliament from the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya affiliate parties held at the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Foundation resolved to pile more pressure on the Kenya Kwanza administration by introducing fresh ultimatum. President William Ruto's government now having less than 3 hours to withdraw the contentious Finance Bill 2023 that proposes further taxes on Kenyans.
The bill must be withdrawn in totality and be reintroduced afresh. Kenya Kwanza has up to midnight today to comply.
Although the opposition did not disclose the consequences it will take once the ultimatum expires, the option to go back to the streets remains on the table. The opposition poking holes in the bill that has so far faced strong resistance across the board.
Our members have come to the conclusion that it has only bad news, worst news, and the worst news. We consider this to be a bill from people living either in another planet or another country.
Despite Azimio noting the efforts made by Kenya Kwanza to close ranks within the two camps in the talks through concessions, Azimio says the efforts are too little, too late.
The joint bipartisan talks remain suspended. That Kenya Kwanza has offered that the joint co-chairs should write to the IEBC selection panel requesting them to halt the process for about 21 to 30 days. To preserve the IEBC's presidential election servers, the Kenya Kwanza side has expressed willingness to co-author a letter to the IEBC reminding them of their legal obligation. It is, however, the view of the parliamentary group that those concessions are not good enough.
The PG also resolved to protect the democracy of parties and ring-fence its members against poaching, calling for President Ruto to stop the onslaught on political parties and respect the decision by the Jubilee Party National Delegates Convention. The meeting also approved Embakasi West legislator Mark Mwenje as the minority deputy whip in the National Assembly, taking over from nominated MP Sabina Chege, who was kicked out after shifting allegiance to Kenya Kwanza.
Kenya Kwanza must agree that all Jubilee MPs, and indeed any other MPs, who have defected to Kenya Kwanza, in essence, have to face by elections.
This now becomes Azimio's latest in the string of ultimatums to the government. The ultimatum to write to the United Nations to seek self-determination expires Wednesday. And with the National Assembly set to resume sittings next week after months' recess, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya leadership now maintain the Finance Bill 2023 must be withdrawn in total to shield Kenyans from their high cost of living. Emmanuel Tor, KTN News, at the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Foundation, Nairobi.
And the ongoing public debate on the finance bill is exposing the glaring doublespeak by politicians.